Nobody indeed. What is up? Welcome into Driving the Line. My name is Alan Bell. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you today. Whole lot of fun breaking down everything we saw from Super Bowl 59, and what a wild game that was. It was different all around. We're gonna get into that for sure. We've also got one of our favorites here. Got some soccer bets we're gonna hit on today, but as always, before we look forward, we need to look back, and we're going to break these up here into quadrants, and you'll see what I mean here. So let me add our hits last night. So this is what we hit on, and we had misses too, but we're going to hit on those in just 1 second. So DeAndre Hopkins, we get the receptions. Thank God there at the end. 2-point conversion attempt, got that. Punt result and a touchback, got that one. A lot of plus monies here. Chiefs Eagles over 2.5 players to attempt a pass. Now, I wanted to hit on these, and we'll get through them. And again, we had misses too. Don't think that we went perfect. We absolutely did not. But over 2.5 players to attempt a pass. That sequence where we had 4th down, okay, and the Eagles go for it with Kenny Pickett, throws an incomplete pass, and then Patrick Mahomes the next play. All right, a monster bomb there for a touchdown to get both teams to 20+ and hit a parlay and AB3 for us as well. So that one was nice. I don't know why D-Hop was mentioned there twice. Barkley, first quarter reception. All right, Eagles second half team total over 12.5. Get that. Mahomes threw a few picks. Jalen Hurts threw a pick as well. So we will get to the misses in 1 second, and I'll show you what I want to break down with those. Because I'll just put them up right here. All right, so we had 2 different groups, all right, of what we had, and I wanted to hit on this one first. All right, Saquon, massive win for the books. The fact that Saquon Barkley did not have a touchdown in the game, I cannot begin to imagine the amount of parlays that got busted on that. So we lose on the Saquon as well as Patrick Mahomes over rush attempts. Game was closer. We would have crashed that one, man. We just smashed it. And then Calcaterra. All right, the jersey number. We don't get that one with Jalen Hurts. Chiefs, Eagles. All right, the rushing touchdowns. Again, man, that goes back to Saquon. 4th down conversions, nope. And then the Eagles. Chiefs both even score a touchdown each half. Chiefs we had it, except the Chiefs didn't score a touchdown in the first half, so that one was tough. All right, but we're gonna get into those, and I'll show you why we broke those down. So okay, the Discord, jump on in, man. Just because football season's over doesn't mean that betting and the fun isn't. Come join for free. It is an absolute blast. If you've never used Discord before, it's just like Slack. If you use that for work, it's a chat room, man. Come join, scan the QR code right there, and we will have a ton of fun doing that. Okay, now, what we do have to get to start this thing off before we get to your action, because we want to be the show that always gives you the picks right up front. I hate when shows hold it and wait to the end, like it's some kind of like, oh, hey, you got to hang around. Nah, dude, if you want to get the picks and bounce out, you're all right. I mean, I don't suggest it, right? But we want to give you what you want, all right? We're about customer service here and Driving the Line. We're also about the picks, so let's get to it. All right, welcome in our man, Brad Betts. Brad, how we doing, buddy?
Doing great, AB. Another great week. We got a huge, difficult slate, but one of the most exciting slates with Champions League and Europa knockout. So there's tons to cover this week, tons to look forward to. It's great to be a soccer bettor.
It is. Now, all right, I see the board behind you, okay? And first off, all right, so we had 10, excuse me, we had 10 $50 winners, all right? So what I need everyone to do, if you won, all right, if you're not in the chat today, you're at work, I'll find you after the show. But if you are in here, in the chat right now, all right, just write winner and then your Cash App or your Venmo, whatever, and I'll get you right after the show. I've got them all down. If the winners aren't in here, again, I'll get with you. I'll find you for sure. But if you are in here, write winner and then at whatever, and let me know if it's Cash App, if it's Venmo, and I'll get you right the second that the show is over. Okay, now, so brought that up to bring up this. All right, Brad, you actually had the first winning bet Driving the Line, all right, at Super Bowl 59. Okay? Explain it. Eli paid. And Jason, we ain't donating to the cause, all right? You guys have done plenty enough. I'm sending you money, brother, all right? Drop that in there, even though your humility and your teamwork is always appreciated. but definitely Spell Dog, tough one, buddy. I know you're a Chiefs fan. He wrote loser. You know what? Why I love him is because he's in here. All right. Spell Dog's been here when the Chiefs win. He's here when the Chiefs lose. And that is the sign of a damn good man right there. So Spell Dog, tough one there, but you are a great one there. Okay. So, all right. Sorry. Back to it. Eli over Peyton. Break it down. What you have?
Yeah, the first bet that we chose, I guess it was my first bet, but the only look, it was a free opportunity for picking a side on FanDuel. You could either choose Eli or Peyton in the kick of destiny. Last year was Gronk, but you had to choose one of the two who's going to make that kick. Looks like Eli. They both made that first kick, and then they moved it. I don't know if it was up or back, but then Eli sunk that second kick over Peyton. So anybody who placed Eli and listened to the Driving the Line show last Friday would be waking up today with a free bet from FanDuel. Can't beat that.
Can't beat that at all. And I saw it was like, I guess they gave away, it was like $10 billion, like $10 billion, I think, worth of like free bets or something. It was that might not be the number. It was something crazy though, right? Like just them calculating like how many that it was going to be, that they gave, man. It was absolutely wild. Awesome. Everybody, I appreciate keep dropping those in regards to if you won. Did you see our new, okay. So Brad, we used to have back at Sportsline created this thing called a showdown. Okay. Go head to head, two people on the show, person in the chat versus somebody on the show, or two people in the chat. Right. So we had a showdown and then brought it over here. All right. It's time to move on, like to a new branding, new name. All right. Because that one's on like 9 different shows now. Right. So we always want to be ahead of the curve. All right. So what we have here. All right. This is our new, we call it. All right. If anybody ever wants to go head to head, all right, all you have to write the words, hey, saddle up, Hoss. Don't you just feel Western with that? All right, I want to walk in a saloon and get a whiskey and a shower, and I'm just going to just slam down a bag of, exactly, of like unidentified coins, but it always equals the amount that's needed, right?
Yeah.
I'm being stupid. Okay, let's get to the picks here, man. Everybody, drop in your thoughts there on the Super Bowl, whether it be the game, whether it be the halftime show, whether it be commercials, if you had a favorite one, or if you turned it off, watch something else. It could be anything like that. But we're going to get to the picks here. Brad, I want you to go first, buddy. Break them down. What you got?
Our first bet today and only bet today, just to be honest, before we get into that, it is a small slate. We have a lot of upcoming matches throughout the middle of the week as well as the weekend. So today on this Monday, make sure you're light. There's just not as much action. So you just want to be a little more careful on days like today. But for our bet today, we're headed to the second division of the Netherlands, a match between Vitesse and Emmet. Vitesse now have scored in 78% of their last 27 matches. They've conceded now in 40 of their last 43. That is 93% of their last 43 matches. And that's 31 goals conceded in the last 11. So it's not just one, multiple. 16 of their last 20, they've conceded 2 or more. They're coming in really frequently letting balls in their net. They've hit over 2.5 goals, which is very important, in 10 straight and 15 of their last 20 when you look at that bet that we have made today. And with Vitesse, if they hit that over 2.5, 13 of the last 18 will push up to that 3.5. So instead of the both teams to score the over 2.5, give us that 3 with a little bit of a safety net. And then you got Emmet. They're not too shabby on the other hand. They've now scored in 28 of their last 35, which is 80%. So both of these teams around that 80% mark. 4 out of every 5, they're finding the net. And they're conceding regularly as well. 23 of their last 26 away. So when they go away from home, they like to concede. They hit the over pretty frequently as well. 8 of their last 11 matches and 3 straight since they've returned from holiday, which is important. You want to make sure they're doing it regularly. And when these two teams play one another, in the last 10 matches, they've hit both teams to score a 9. They've hit over 2.5 in 8 of the 10 and 3.5 in 4 of the 5. So I like goals in this match a lot. So we're going to take that over 3 in that safety net, most specifically because when you have Vitesse win in 7 of the last 10 matches, somebody has hit at least 3 goals. And with Emmen, it's the same. 6 of the last 11, somebody has hit 3. So in case that both teams don't score, one team could get us there by themselves. So we're going to take that safety net, that over 3 at minus 130 in the second division of the Netherlands between Vitesse and Emmen.
You brilliant son of a gun right there. That is nice. I always do like having a little, insurance, all right? A little safety net. Hell yeah, dude. I'm 100% with you on that one. All right. Some comments real quick. Our man Walsey said, best part of Super Bowl last night, the wife screaming at the TV all night made my night. Just back and watch her eat some popcorn. Scott says, hey, I won $1,200 last night at the Super Bowl with some of the bets. Hey, Scott, well done. And you know what? You placed him right. Like, that's on you. I appreciate the kind words, but hey, that's all you, buddy. Well done on that one, man. Great job for sure. John, the Eagles, 101, fourth. Yeah. So, we needed 2.5, I think, for the game. However, yeah. Tony, AB over under 4 Jack Daniels last night. Me under. I ate and I was tired. I did not watch the game, but I was down. Like, dude, this past week was long, brother. So yeah, under for me, but our man Mims was all over it. Had a great time, and he's always a great host. We all went over to Randall's Mims Force One's house. It was a good time, man. I sat there and played with a dog. All right, his little bulldog Harley, and I just feed him chicken under the table, enjoying it. All right, so here's what we got on mine, and so I want to say this one, Country Kane. What up, brother? Hey, how we doing, man? Hope you're doing okay, buddy. We've all been thinking about you, and hope you're doing well. It's so good to see you. So we had, Brad, last night we had, and I'll pull myself up here real quick. We had almost 2,000 new people come and check us out yesterday between the morning show and the night show. Awesome, right? And again, I say it all the time that the detail crew is the best in the game, because you know what they do every single time? Welcome people in, right? Welcome them in. Say, hey, here's a seat at the table, man. Come hang out. Come be one of us, right? And it was really cool, man. So I say that to say anybody that is new, all right, you're going to see on here, I'm a bit of a volume better, all right? Some people take basketball and other sports, they bet them differently, right? Like some people might say, I have one bet. This is what I like. We're going to go after it, right? As you do, right? Smart play. For me, I like, Brad, I use the aggregate. And what I do is I like to go, anywhere 4 to 6 picks, right? And picks that I have a good handle on and say, all right, I think we're going to finish better than we're not. You know what I mean? So I use the aggregate, and not only like, I don't look at betting. I mean, yeah, I look at it day to day. Okay. But I also look at it from a longer perspective. If anybody, looks in the show description or on my Twitter, I have a full chart of all of my picks for the last 3 years, segmented out by sport, by year, all of that, right? But so I do look at a little bit of a longer perspective, right? I'll look at it at a week at a time, month at a time, a quarter, 3 months, as we go, right? So sometimes I look, you're like, man, he's had tough days the last 2, right? It's like, all right, I just want everybody like that's brand new to understand, like, hey, this guy seems like a crazy person. I am a little bit, but I do use an aggregate there for the longer view. So I just wanted people to kind of understand, you know what I mean, where I'm coming from. Again, I'm not saying that it's right. All right. We're all just bettors out here trying to figure out this thing and trying to keep it honest. Now, if you do go check that out, for the last 2 years, we've hit about 53, 54% year after year, right? So solid. Like, I mean, we'll damn take it. You know what I mean? But again, and I don't say that like patting myself. No, none of that. I want anybody that's brand new to just kind of get a feel of who I am, and you'll see it, as we go. And, it varies by sport anyway. So that's enough yapping from me here, Brad. All right. So we're going to go Baylor, Houston. All right. Over 132.5. Now, here is the trouble with Houston. Their defense is legit. All right. They could boa constrictor, just choke people out. You know what I mean? But Baylor's not a bad squad, and I think that we are going to have a nice little back and forth here. I would like to see Baylor control the pace and speed it up. Even though Houston can go, they can also slow things down, right? So, I think about it like, I don't know, internationally or even MLS, right? Like we used to play, both teams to score a lot, you know what I mean, in MLS. And there were some teams, Inter Miami would put up a ton of goals, right? I mean, because they fire. Philadelphia was a team that put up a ton of goals, but they could play defense too, and they could choke teams out. Nashville SC was a great team for both teams to score because they had, some strikers. They had some dudes that put the ball in the net, but they'd give up some goals too, right? Especially, a couple years ago, right? So anyways, what I'm saying is I'd like to see a nice pace here. I'd like to see Baylor, kind of drive that so that we force Houston to keep it, back and forth, back and forth. All right. Lafayette, American. Now, here's the interesting part. In Tennessee, all right, northern Tennessee near Kentucky, there's a small town called Lafayette. All right. Now, I don't know how Lafayette, I believe that's how they pronounce it here, but we're going to take them in American over 132.5 as well. We can see this one get pretty high. These two teams pretty, straight up. Like, I honestly think the fouls are going to come into this game a lot. We're going to get to the free throw line a lot, and I love that because, number one, slows the clock down, stops it, obviously, and number two, you get free shots. You know what I mean? So I'll take that all day long. Clemson, big game against North Carolina. Some people might think that there's a letdown after a big win against Duke over the weekend. Could be. But North Carolina's not that good. However, I don't want to play 5.5. All right, so we're going to pair the Clemson money line. We're going to take that 5.5 down to just win the game. And we're going to pair that with the Celtics tonight against the Heat. Celtics are on the road, but I do think that this is a game where Boston could absolutely set the tone here early, middle, and often, and late. So we're going to take Clemson, Celtics, put those two together, plus 105. All right, we're going to take the Pelicans and the Thunder under 234. This game could be hideous. Brad, this could be hideous. All right. If anybody doesn't want to see a hideous game, you might want to find something else to watch. But we are going to take advantage of that, and I think that we can really, really get low 200s here. Okay, so we're going to take it under 234, and then finally Klay Thompson over 3.5 threes at plus 120. Thompson with the Mavericks, man. Look, they got people protesting out front. All right, Anthony Davis just went down. He's hurt. It is not good vibes with Dallas at all, right? That's exactly why I want Klay, because somebody's going to have to step it up and somebody's going to have to be the guy to score some points. And I think Klay is going to be the guy to do that. We know that he'll put up the attempts. That's why I love playing his threes, because he's going to shoot and shoot and shoot. And right now, I mean, why the hell not? You know what I mean? So we'll take Klay over 3.5 threes there at plus 120. Okay. Now, so, Brad, let me get the ticker up here. So anybody that is new, you can get our picks all throughout the show right there. Okay. Scott says, AB, if Baylor scores 60 tonight, we're in good shape on the bet. I completely agree, right? Like, we just need Baylor to just don't fall into that. We're sitting at 48. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I completely agree with you. Okay. Spell Dog asked, Brad, your soccer play, if I can't get 3, what would be a good bet?
The alternative to the over 3 today would be that both teams to score and over 2.5 parlay. However, I do everything that I possibly can to avoid a parlay, mostly because one team could hit all 4 or can hit that 3 to give us that push. And if one team gets a red card, or maybe they have 25 shots and can't find the net, and the other team does, counters on them, finds some opportunities and gets some goals, that can give us our money back. I really like that safety net. I think it's very important. At both teams to score an over 2.5, it's hovering around minus 155 to minus 160. I think that together for that number isn't necessarily a great play. If you can't get the over 3 pre-match, maybe wait about 4 or 5 minutes into the game, maybe even 7 to 8, and it should drop enough to give you that over 3 if you have that option. I would prefer you to go for that over 3 today than to take both teams to score over 2.5, because I mentioned about those team totals. These teams can frequently score a bunch, and they can also frequently concede a bunch. When you have that, it can really shoot the over on one end and give you that little bit of a safety net. So that's it's a tough one. So yeah, both teams to score an over 2.5 would be a decent play. I don't hate it, but I just prefer that over 3 a little bit more.
There we go, man. Great answer, buddy. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let's see what we had. Scott, do you guys like Joker? Nikola Jokic triple-double plus 100 tonight. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that ever worries is, like, if the spread is, large. And again, that doesn't mean that, necessarily it's going to be a blowout. But the one thing with Jokic, man, is that when they blow teams out, dude, he doesn't play in the fourth quarter, right? But I'm not saying that's going to happen, because I'll say, Wayne, spot on with it, man. Like, Jokic at home, damn near an auto play. I agree. Like, dude's a beast, man. Absolute beast for sure. John says, yeah, I can't believe the Eagles only scored 1 rushing touchdown with 40. I know. It's wild. It's absolutely wild, man. Like, that's why Super Bowls, dude, they're so wild. They're so crazy. Like, you just never know how it's going to go down. You know what I mean? Glenn says he had his best betting day last night. Glenn, that's awesome, man. So glad to hear it. And speaking of that, right? So, let's see. Tim says, so how do the college baseball picks work? What kind of success rate are we talking? Is there a model or just personal AB insights? So that answer comes in a couple ways. So number one, yeah, a lot of it is my personal insights in regards to these teams, in regards to pitching staffs. I follow it pretty damn closely. I'm friends with a lot of the beat writers, reporters, that cover these teams because I used to work really with most of them, right? At 24/7 Sports. If anybody's never heard of it, right? So, essentially, it was a company that covered every college. Okay, so there was a group of beat reporters that covered every single school. You know what I mean? Like, big or small. So worked with these people, daily, like it, in Knoxville, Tennessee. All right. Wes Rucker, Ryan Callahan. Those guys were great, man. So it's like we do have access to everybody that's a beat reporter immediately. You know what I mean? So we can get, really keen on pitching staffs, pitching injuries, things that are going on with the team for sure. So that's number one. Number two, company called D1 Baseball. Kendall Rogers and them, excellent team. So we use them a ton. Speak to them. They're actually going to come on the show here pretty soon and break some things down. And I'll tell you what, shoot, I'll put this up here while we talk about it, right? So D1 Baseball, these are top 25 rankings. So we work with them as well. These are the guys that, literally go out and set rankings. You know what I mean? Like, they are official, in the sport. And then number three, all right, so we're going to have multiple people on this year. TJ Parker and myself are going to be breaking these things down every single week, as well as a guy named John Bowman. Bowman, arguably could be the best college baseball handicapper in the country. And I'm not kidding. He's good. He's good. I like to think of myself as decent. Bowman might be the best. Like, literally the best. So you're going to have access to him literally every week, all season long. So yeah, so I didn't mean to go long-winded, Tim. That's a great question, and I wanted to make sure that, we had it, that answered it properly, right? Like, I assure you, you will have every tool at your disposal. And the good thing, too, is that this show is different, man. Like, it's not like I love not having a set standard of what we have to do in every single other show. That's like, oh, well, now we got to hit on, like, dude, we're going to hit on what the hell we want to hit on and what is going on that day, that week. I mean, shoot, look, I'll show you this, man. Like, anybody that's not like involved in college baseball, I know it's tough to see. I mean, this is this weekend and we'll go over it more, but I mean, we have all your big games already circled, ready to go. I'm already working on them. And you're going to be all set, I assure you. Now, the first, like any other sport, I mean, the first, couple weeks, college baseball is tough because it's cold. These guys haven't played baseball in forever. But yeah, man, like, we're going to have some fun. So I hope that helped, Tim, for sure. So we will definitely have, and that was a great question. Like, that absolute great question. And anybody that ever has any questions like that, man, let me know. Yeah.
Are we going to get totals this year with college baseball? I mean, last year when I was telling, I love your college baseball. I don't do a lot of college baseball betting, but I do love your picks. I like those little money line picks, parlays between those favorites. I mean, I wasn't getting anything in Tennessee. I mean, at all numbers. I
swear to God, and anybody that's been with us here, all right, the past year, 2 years, 3 years, right? We were hitting so much, okay? And I'm not saying this being a jerk. I'm saying it honest. We were hitting so much that DraftKings literally would watch the show and wait until the show was over to give out the lines and the totals. They wouldn't even give us totals anymore, all right? Because we were just beating the hell out of them over and over and over. And I swear to you, we had to literally set up this incognito system of delivering the picks. We had 7 minutes before first pitch to make picks. That's how difficult that they made us. Now, I'll also say this. I don't say that negatively on them. All right. I say it as this question that John asks. Let me see it. What book is typically the best bet college baseball? DraftKings. Like, I think they're the best. BetMGM is not bad. ESPN Bet is not bad. But for me, man, DraftKings for sure. But yeah, dude, like it got to that much, man. Dude, Wayne, he says it. Not kidding. Like it was absolutely that way, man. Yeah, it was nuts. And all right, yeah, Country brings it up as well. We break down humidity levels, all right, literally to determine home run bets. And we're gonna do that in Major League Baseball as well. But yeah, like you'll have absolutely, man. Absolutely.
We had a couple of those teams last year when they would give us those totals that they were around like 11 to 14 and they would smack like 20, 30 runs.
Yeah.
Like consecutive games in a row. It was awesome.
It was, dude, it was awesome. And you're right. And here's the best part. Okay. And again, I say this as everyone, like our whole crew together, literally moved lines, literally drove the line. Okay. And literally had the books waiting and changing their entire operation. The detail crew did that. I swear to you, like, who else can say that? You know what I mean? Like, and I say that again, not me, like you guys, like take that. That is a badge, a pelt on the wall, dude. Like literally in seconds, the detail crew was driving lines, man. It was absolutely incredible. One of Stripe says, need a segment caller, pings for dings or something, nothing sound. Dude, 100% on that. 100%, man. Yeah, I think we had, hold on. All right, we're gonna work on that sound. Yeah, that sounds a little weak. All right, that's a ground out to short, but we're gonna work on our soundboard for that one there. Anybody that's brand new, welcome in to Drive the Line. My name is Alan Bells, Brad Betts, and you see our picks right there at the bottom of the screen there on the ticker. Let me pull it back up so that you can see them there. Now, Brad, what do we think about Super Bowl odds next year? Where are we going? What do you think?
I mean, if the Eagles are going to come back healthy, it's pretty difficult to see them failing. It's hard because the Chiefs seem to have their number of the Bills as well as the Ravens, and I think those could be the toughest competition. So it looks like the Chiefs could go right back to where they are. And the Eagles, the Lions are just not defensively good enough. I'm not sure the question marks with the 49ers. I mean, obviously you don't want to have like just a repeat of the Super Bowl, but these teams seem to be the best of the two in their division. I know it feels like the Chiefs seem to limp across the line every single match, but they've been doing that for so many years. We almost have to just expect it. It's going to be, I feel like Patrick Mahomes will be right back in the Super Bowl looking for some revenge. And I don't see the Eagles stopping as well. They were just an absolute force all season. If they stayed defensively as sound as they were, how are you going to beat them consistently? They just have too many guys. Patrick Mahomes looks scared out there. I don't know if I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes drop back and look around like, who do I throw this to? And even when he did, normally he has those side throws. He angles his body, but he just looked a little bit scared.
Yeah, that his offensive line was getting its ass whooped. That's what was the problem. And how crazy is it that, like we talk about, you know, you look at the defense for the Eagles. All right, they weren't even blitzing. Like bringing 4 and getting pressure is not the same as blitzing. You're just getting pressure with 4. And Brad, I'll tell you what. So I'll show you something real quick. Let me take this ticker off for 1 second. This is how dangerous, and when you have a team that can get pressure with 4. All right, the pick 6 last night, okay? Cooper DeJean, all right? And shout out to him. Your birthday, and in the Super Bowl, and you get a pick six. All right, so I want you to watch this, and I want you to watch 33 in the middle. All right, perfect spy. And this is what film work does, because he knew and the Eagles defense knew exactly what was coming, and to stay in your lane, all right, and wait, because it's going to happen. Check this out. All right, so you see Mahomes rolls right, throws, look at 33. Boom, got him right underneath. You see it. Now, get past 66, 97. Come on, got a block on the second one, but I'll play it one more time. Like, dude, watch 33. Boom, got it, right? And I don't know where Mahomes is throwing to either, because look, man, we'll let it play one more time. Take a look at 8 here, cutting across there on the deep slant, right? All right. I mean, 27 might have intercepted that one as well. You know what I mean? Like, that was, and I played that, and that courtesy of Next Gen Stats there, that the Eagles defense was swarming, man. Like, they were just so good. They were just so good. They're incredible, man. Just absolutely incredible. And you know what stinks is when you go and prepare for a Super Bowl and you just don't play well. Like, dude, it sucks, man. Like, if it was, any of them, like any, international soccer, ML, like when you get to that level and you get to the postseason, you get to the championship. Oh, dude, it's just brutal here. Now, taking a look at some stats here. Okay, so we looked at these yesterday. All right, Adam nailed it. Only twice the last 17 years is the favorite covered with the over also hitting. So if you like Chiefs, lean the under. If you like the Eagles, lean the over. There you go. The under has also hit all 4 times since 2014 when the total's in the 40s. Now, get that one, right? Over came in there. Now, Sal Betts, our boy nailed it as well. Jake Elliott, absolutely crushed it. Hit his kicking points, 100% in his last now 8 games. And the Eagles scored a touchdown to end the season in the first quarter in 8 straight games. Like, absolutely consistent. And you look at it here, man. Mark this, like these down for next year, but specifically this one. Underdogs are now 14-3, or 14-4 against the spread. The last 18 Super Bowls, all right, and 18-6 in the last 23, or last 24. All right, the team with the better playoff seed is now 2-17-2 in the last 28 Super Bowls. That's a stat to keep with you right there. Like, absolutely nailed it for sure. And then the books, they cleaned up yesterday. Absolutely cleaned up and crushed it, especially with Saquon not scoring a touchdown. Dude, that had to, and Travis Kelce, that had to bust so many parlays completely. Anybody that won last night in our Saddle Up Haas $500 giveaways. All right, we had 10 of them, $50 each. If you won, all right, in the chat, write winner and then write at whatever your Venmo, whatever your Cash App is, and I will get you paid right after the show. And thanks for hanging out and thanks for playing, man. 100%. Kevin said, brother, thank you, man. And thank all of you. Like, we had a ton of fun. And here's what I love about it is that we can adapt to exactly the season and the sports that we have, right? I mean, this is the day after the Super Bowl, so there's a lot of reaction to that. But yeah, like, dude, we're gonna have so much fun, and we're gonna have so many ways to go and get it. Scott says Elliott in the over and the Eagles part of the parlay I hit last time. Boom, there we go. Scott, I'm so glad that it could help. And shout out, like I said, shout out to you making the bets, and shout out, to those dudes with the tweets, man. Like 100%. I was hoping that that info would definitely help. For sure. And sounds like it did, man. Thanks for your hard work. Hey, back at y'all. 100% back at you all. I'm telling you, man. Brad, we love doing this, man. And especially with this crew, like it's family, man. It really, really is. So, okay. Now, Brad, got soccer here. All right. What do we need to know? All right. I'm a soccer, like I enjoy it. I'm ignorant to a lot of it, honestly, right? So explain like where we're at in the season, both, internationally or, MLS, whatever. Like, speak to me as if, and it's true, like I know nothing, but I want to bet soccer. Like, where are we at? What are we looking forward to? Is this like heavy season, dry season, getting ready for something? Break it down, man, where we're at.
We are probably about to hit the heaviest season for football bettors, soccer bettors. Right now, we're just getting back from the winter break. We're hitting these knockout stages in the midweek. The cup competitions are finishing. There are leagues all around the world that are returning, some at the beginning of the season, depending on what calendar that the league plays in, and some are halfway through, a little over halfway through, and they'll be finishing the season. So a lot of leagues, like your top leagues, Spain, Italy, England, etc., those teams are in the middle of it to the latter middle, and they're going to be playing until the end or middle of May. Then you have other leagues like the MLS who are coming back here in a few weeks that will be playing throughout the summer into the fall. So it's a really great time to be a soccer bettor. Honestly, it's probably the best time of the year. Over the next 3 months, there'll be a lot of value. There'll be a lot of matches that are coming thick and fast. So we're going to have tons and tons of content, tons of things to look forward to. And with that being said, there are two matches today that I want to highlight. There are a lot of people who will be looking at these two matches specifically. There's a top match in Italy Serie A between Inter and Fiorentina. What you need to know is this is the third time that these teams are matching up with one another in the last 13 days. When you have a team who's seen another team a couple times, sometimes you're just going to get a bit of variance. They have started to figure out what each other does. The second match, which was last week, was a makeup match. So it started in the 15th minute. Now we're coming back. That was a cup match, but now we're coming back into the reverse fixture, the second fixture with Inter playing Fiorentina at home. It does cause for a little bit of concern. Inter doesn't hit both teams to score a lot, but Fiorentina does. So there's a little bit of wackiness in between the scores. So be very careful with that match. There's just too much familiarity. And then there's also a match in Spain between Mallorca and Osasuna. Mallorca have not scored in their last 5 matches, and they've only scored 5 of their last 14. So they're not trending well. They are conceding regularly, 12 of their last 13. Osasuna scores regularly and concedes regularly. The matchup does okay, but what you need to know is Mallorca's just not playing very well. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to find the net, not sure if they're going to keep a clean sheet or not. There's just too much. And on a Monday, when you bet football on a Monday, just know that these players are humans. So they're in their transition. They're interrupting their routine in the middle of the week or the beginning, middle of the week. And so we could find some of these players just playing a little bit off. That tends to be a bit of a theme on Monday. Volume is always low, but we'll start to ramp up. We got Tuesday's Champions League and Wednesday Champions League knockout stage between. You have insane matches like tomorrow. A highlight, a match between Man City and Real Madrid. It does not get any better than that. These two teams are going to be playing one another. And in the Champions League, Europa League knockout fixtures, what you need to know is these are 2-leg ties. That means there's a home fixture and an away fixture. What does that really mean? It means nobody can win and nobody can lose in that first match. So sometimes you're either going to get an all-out attack going forward, gung-ho, or you're going to get a little bit of complacency, a little, not going forward because you don't want to give up too many goals. Can't win, can't lose in the first leg. Well, I mean, you can kind of lose it, sort of, but you just want to be in pole position into the second fixture slate, which means that away team specifically might be complacent just because they know next match we get to go home in front of our home fans. You always have a better opportunity to pick up points when you're at home.
My man, you break things down better than anybody. That's why I asked you. I love it. Now, I'll tell you what we need to do, okay? So what we need, and we'll work on this because it literally just popped in my head as you were talking. Kind of like the no-fly zone, kind of like we do home runs during Major League Baseball season. We need a game. And again, I'm not putting it out as like, hey, well, how about you figure this out this second? No, I'm not saying that. But we need a game of like both teams to score, right? Like something like that, something that's fun, something that's simple. Because look, you're an expert. And we have a lot of unbelievably intelligent football bettors, in the crew. But I know that there are some that want to bet and don't really know much. I'm one of them, right? Hell, I'm driving the bus on that thing, right? So we need to figure out a game. Like we're gonna figure something out to where we have something like we identify, you know, a couple of the best, like both teams to score through the week or something. And I know that odds are, you don't always have them days in advance, right? But again, I'm just whiteboarding. You're just hearing my thoughts just spoken out loud, like an insane human being. But yeah, like we're gonna figure something out, something fun with that. You know what I mean? Because I think like goal scoring is the most fun, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best to be independent in a match. It means you can get there on either side. You could be cheering for both teams, essentially just cheering for the game. That's a lot of why I think the over is so popular in football as well as some of the others. You just want some action. And in football, there's only so many moments of action. So you want to find those matches in which you have more moments. It's more exciting. Personally, that's what I believe. And with both teams to score with over 2.5, I've come up with a bit of a formula, kind of a proprietary formula. You kind of look at what they're scoring versus what they're conceding, how often they do it, and then how often they do it against one another. You take those percentages with one another, and you kind of put what you expect that to come or to be. And then you also have to look at the line, because sometimes it does look great, but if you think this is more of a 60, 70, 80%er, you don't want to be betting a minus 300, because minus 300 is not the value for that type of pick. So you want to make sure that your number is under what you expect it to hit.
There we go. Look, Seminoles 5 right here. Enlighten the crew regarding football corners. You're a football corner man?
So that's a tough one. So in corners, so there are a few teams that you can kind of expect it. Corners are a bit of a play style type of play. So if you're expecting corners, you want teams to be driving the line. That's funny that you say that, but driving it to the line, like nice. Taking it to the line, taking on players, trying to be creative instead of the Man City type, where if you're familiar with those who are familiar with Man City, they play a very possessive style. So you'll see that ball go back into the middle, into their front players, some crossing and finishing, but not as much as you'd see an Arsenal, who is my favorite team, which you can see right here. Arsenal is actually one of the best corner teams in the world. They have adapted their style now to corners. They have a lot of big guys who can run in. They have plays. They're picking each other now, similar to basketball. It is a new facet to soccer that most teams have not really adapted to yet. And it can really give you such an advantage on set pieces to be able to go down, get fouled, and know you can cross that ball into the box, win it, and get a header, score at any moment. That's great for goals. But for corners specifically, I wouldn't really look to bet them unless you specifically know that this team is an open play style. They like to go forward, and they like to drive the ball to the line, specifically fast wingers, ones who are creative. Real Madrid, Vinny and Mbappe, you'll see those guys drive the line, use their speed to be creative, open it up, because corners can be such an advantageous position, especially if you're up. If you're a team that's up, sometimes you'll go to the line, but for the most part, if you have a favorite, also a good live opportunity, if you have a favorite like an Arsenal and they're down, like they were in the cup competition to Newcastle, well, what you expect is they're going to overload and they're going to push people forward. And you're also going to expect Newcastle to sit in deep. When you have a team sitting in deep and you have one team that's attacking and they go to the line with speed, that's when you would find corners.
Any other questions? Like, I love it. And if you see me smiling over here, like it's because you're just amazing. You're absolutely amazing, man. Like I could just sit and listen to you all day. Like I'm learning. You know what I mean? Like that's the best part. And your passion, dude. Like, don't ever lose that. And just ever lose that, dude. You're the absolute man. Zach, look. Always. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's incredible, right? Like Seminoles, that's a great like question comment. You know what I mean? In regards to betting corners. And he just fired that. Like he didn't know that was coming. You know what I mean? Absolutely crush it. All right. A couple other things we'll get out of here. Let you guys get on. I know you got to go to work. And you got other things going on in your life. Had a question here from Scott. AB, are you doing the late night, early morning weekend college baseball bet starting this weekend? Absolutely. Now, give me a little bit of time. I'm going to get with TJ here and then get with John Bowman as well in regards to planning out like through the season of what the schedule will be. We have a show called The Overs, Brad, right? You saw it, like you said it, to where we literally all get together, all right, as crew members, and we go through the games and we break down totals, right? And we literally do it together and figure out, all right, we start with a list. Hey, these are the 10, I'll start with a list. Hey, these are the 10 that I like. Let's go through the stats. Let's go through the numbers. And as a group, as a team, some will mark out. We're like, man, it's a little risky. Let's get rid of that one, right? And we go through it. If you want to like bet college baseball for real, be a part of that. So, Scott, to answer your question, we'll be covered. Yeah, absolutely this week, but I'll get the schedule out for that because we're 100% gonna do that one for sure. Big shout out to Liddy, obviously one of the OGs. Good morning, crew. ABGB, nicely done. And Liddy said, "Look, me and him had we had a little saddle up hoss. He had the Chiefs, I had the Eagles. He sent that over ASAP. That's why Liddy is first class. And again, anyone that won last night in our $500 giveaway games. If you haven't, drop in the chat your Cash App or Venmo. If I don't see it, I'll find it. I've got the list over here. I'll get with you all offline and get y'all paid. Make sure, because man, it was so much fun for sure. Mark says the Brad. Look at the big brain on Brad. Oh, I love it. All right, we'll get out of here. Let me put up the picks one more time. I'm on Baylor, Houston over 132.5. Fiat American over 132.5. Clemson money line, Celtics money line plus 105. Pelicans Thunder under 234. Klay Thompson over 3.5 threes. And Brad, let me try this out. Vitesse Emin over 3 minus 130. Is that correct?
Got it.
There we go. Look at it. There we go. Man, Byron says Trabzon.
All right, that's a good one. So if you
let me stop there, you go ahead and take over.
Let me dive into
read the question and then speak on it.
Excuse me. Sorry, I missed.
Read the question.
Oh yeah, Trabzonspor and Ayaspor or Ayupspor. That one is a tough one because they're relatively new to me. But both teams to score. So Turkish Super League. We do need to talk about this. I posted about it yesterday. The NFL is kind of similar to the Turkish Super League in a sense of big calls define matches, and sometimes you don't necessarily know what way those calls are going to go because the Turkish Super League, when it goes to VAR, the assistant review, it's very suspect on what they call. Typically, they like to favor some of these top dogs. You saw there's a match yesterday between Galatasaray and Demirspor. Galatasaray, if they win, move to the top of the table. Demirspor, if they lose, continue to be at the bottom, facing relegation battle. And for those who are unfamiliar, that means you're no longer in the league next year. You're going to lose tons and tons of revenue. What happened yesterday? Galatasaray got fouled in the box, went to VAR, clear dive, absolute clear dive. Everybody who understands the match, understands the game, knows that was an absolute dive. What did VAR do? They confirmed it, confirmed the goal, gave them the penalty, gave that team before halftime who wasn't doing really well, who needed points, that edge. About 5 minutes later, there was a foul. Demirspor left the field, withdrew from the match, gone. Because they're sick and tired of seeing this type of situation happen specifically in the Turkish Super League. It's happened to Fenerbahce. It's happened to Galatasaray. It happens every single time a top team plays. Subjective calls that leave you just scratching your head saying, I'm not sure about this. So Turkish Super League specifically is one league I have vowed no longer to bet because you're not in charge. The play style's not in charge. The top people in there are in charge. They want revenue. They want eyes, and you can see it with the calls. A top manager, Jose Mourinho, one of the top managers in the world, is a manager for Fenerbahce in the Turkish Super League right now. Shouldn't be there, should be somewhere else, but he's not. He's there managing them, and he called out this type of, corruption. Yeah, just straight up corruption you see in these matches for these top teams. called it out. And when a top manager who's currently coaching in that league calls out the league specifically, you know there must be an issue. And we saw it yesterday. It's been a long-standing issue. So that for that reason and a long response there, maybe think about staying away from the Turkish Super League.
My man, there is no better way to end this show than number one, on your unbelievable information, and number two, on corruption and potential felonies. That's how we want to get down. All right. We'll be live today, 3 p.m. Eastern, 4, driving the night line. All right. Again. All right. The crew is bringing it. This is about you, the crew. If you want to make picks, you want to be in this industry, or you just like having fun making your picks with your boys and girls here, absolutely bring it. All right. The information is in the Discord. It's real simple. Check it out. You'll get it for sure. So we'll be live 3 p.m. Eastern, quick 5-minute show. We want to make sure that we get all of our final bets in, updated, fresh lines. NBA, college basketball, it's always tough, in regards to players that are in, players that are out. Hockey, I know it can be the same way. So that's why we do it. We'll see you at 3 p.m. Eastern. But, Brad, all right, till then, everybody, best of luck. Let's cash these tickets, and we will see you this afternoon. Thanks.
Who's got it better than us? No!